Skilla Steve.
Let's get started. Alright, everybody. Welcome to the Skilla Steve channel. I'm your host, Skilla Steve. Hey there, hi there, ho there, folks. So it's been a minute, but I'm doing another episode of Tales from the Road. This is Tales from the Road, episode 2, Cop versus Biker. And if you haven't seen my previous Tales of the Road video, he was left for dead, check it out. Check it out right now, or do it later. Watch this one, then check that one out. But yeah, this one is about my friend's dad. Story's about my friend's dad. He said, go ahead and use his name. His name is Kenny. Kenny used to ride a lot back in the day. He doesn't anymore, I believe because of medical reasons. But Kenny was kind of another reason why I started riding, because he used to tell me stories all the time back in the day when he rode. But Kenny, back in his 20s, was kind of a little bit of ruffian. He was a little bit of not like a hooligan, but he knows his limits. But you piss him off, man, everybody knows. He used to tell me all sorts of cool stories back in the day, but this one is a good one. And this one, he's always told me the story, and the story always remains the same, 100%. I believe it. It's true. So let's try. I'll try not to butcher the story. Hopefully, I don't. But I know he's gonna be watching, so I hope I make him proud. But Kenny, back in the day, like I said, he was kind of like I lost my train of thought there. He's definitely kind of like a hooligan. Like I said, he knows his limits. He dressed definitely like the 70s biker, you know, the old like denim or leather vest. He used to have like the leather cap, like old school type. And he used to ride at one point, it was the early 70s or late 60s, I want to say, Honda CB 750. But he customized it. He put he had a king and queen seat on it. I believe he raked out the front. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to ask him if he did that. But I believe he raked out the front. And he put a hog wheel on the back. And he put a exhaust on there. He said the exhaust was pretty loud. He had the exhaust. It was very short. It came just a little bit past the foot pegs on there. And he said the thing was loud. It was loud. Or it wasn't loud when it wasn't really loud when it idled, but it was loud when it would rip by. When he opened up the throttle, it was loud. And when he would rev it, as long as he opened up the throttle, it was loud. It wasn't loud when he's cruising or when he's at idle. But they used to get him in some trouble because one day he was going to his brother's house to play a card game with his buddies called Pinochle. And he was going to his brother's house, and he was just like, goofing around. I guess he ripped on the throttle and made some noise and upset a few neighbors because his bike was pretty loud. It was on a Sunday, and they parked their bikes on the sidewalk. And I guess he was telling me that they parked their bikes on the sidewalk because they know the mail carrier wasn't coming that day, which is awful. It was just thoughtful of them, I guess. But the mail carrier wasn't coming that day, so they parked their bikes on the sidewalk. A few minutes later, I guess the police department showed up, knocking on the door. They were inside playing Pinochle. Kenny and somebody else answered. Cops are like, "Are those your bikes?" They're like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, you got to get him off the sidewalk." He said, "You have 10 seconds to get him from the sidewalk and park him in the street." Kenny didn't like that. And Kenny, he used to be a smart ass. Well, he still is a smart ass, but back then he was like, take no shit. So he goes, "Oh, I got 10 seconds to get my bike off the sidewalk into the street. Well, it's going to take me more than 10 seconds to get that bike on the street. So what the hell's going to happen if I don't get that bike within 10 seconds on the street?" The cop didn't like that answer, and the cop's like, "Well, if you don't comply, then we're going to tow your bikes." He goes, "If you put one scratch or dent on that bike, That bike is yours, and you owe me for that bike. You hear me? The cops all saw that. They didn't take too kind to his response. And they all got, like, a couple of them got out of the squad car. He told him, he's like, the cop's like, what'd you say? So you heard me, and he repeated himself to the cop. And he was getting very fired up, and the cops all had stood up, all kind of had their hands near the holster. He goes, you better calm down. He goes, oh yeah? Looks at all the cops and goes, what the fuck are you gonna do about it? What the fuck are any of you gonna do about it? And he started pacing back and forth. It got heated pretty fast. I mean, it got escalated really fast.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Finally, his brother comes out. He goes, what's going on? He goes, are you the owner of this house? He goes, yeah. Get these bikes off the sidewalk. Get him inside now. And you're going, for these bikes being on the sidewalk, you're going to go to the court. Well, he kind of knew that he was going to be paying a fine or going to jail. So he saw that there was other bikes that were parked on the sidewalk. But Kenny kind of didn't help the case by getting rough with them. So they end up driving down the street, taking pictures, make sure they had that date stamped on the pictures. You know, I think it was on the Polaroid. I don't know if that's Polaroid that does it, or if you just do like the old, like, you know, disposable films. So they were taking pictures of bikes on the sidewalk, and he gets the notice in the mail to go down to court. He goes down to the court, and he tries to make his case. He tries to show the pictures. Judge is like, no, I don't want to hear it. You guys give motorcycle riders a bad name. You guys are hooligans. You guys are this and that. He just started laying into these guys. And he goes, you guys, he's like, give us all a bad name. He says, you're paying a $400 ticket. You're lucky that you guys didn't go to jail. He was like, you guys have a good day, and I hope you learned your lesson. $400, and that was late 70s, I think. So what is that today with inflation? So I kind of got to figure it out. I don't know off the top of my head, but here it is right here. That is a lot of money to pay, and he ended up paying for it. I'm not sure if Kenny pitched in. I'm pretty sure Kenny did pitch in, because Kenny was the one that kind of caused that to escalate there. But Ken's a good man. He's definitely calm down. He's a very good guy, you know. He gave me a few tips on riding. I never rode with the man. I wish I could have, you know, but he doesn't want to. He's got a trike that's sitting in his garage. He's never got the chance to work on it. He's actually offering it to me along with some of his tools. It's I think an 83 or an 84 Yamaha Venture Royale trike. And it's very 80-ish. It's got the cassette player in there, and it's got all the buttons. You know, like Shade Tree keeps talking about the 80s bikes with all the buttons, like his Goldwing. It's not a Goldwing, but hey, another Yamaha in the garage? Maybe. We'll see. He's never got a chance to work on it. I think second gear failed. He wanted to put a reverse on it. There's no reverse on it. That's pretty rough for a trike like that. I believe that bike's like 1200 cc's. It's actually got the same motor as my VMAX. Just my VMAX is tuned. It's like a tuned down version of my VMAX. Hey, maybe. I might think about it. It's also got like the Native American design on it. It's got the wolf howling at the moon. I think it's got the dream catcher on there. I haven't seen that bike in a while. And he's got a lot of tools too. Definitely I'd like to buy some of his tools off of him. But should I buy the bike? Let me know, guys. And what do you think of this story? And like I said, Kenny's not like that anymore. You know, he's calmed down. He's an older guy, but man, some of us did some pretty stupid things when we were young. And you know what, man? I'm glad he did it so I could share that story with you guys, because every time he tells me, I think it's freaking funny. So let me know what you think of this Tales of the Road. And I should do another one soon. And I also want to ask you guys, for the non-motor vloggers, if you guys got a story, the non-motor vlogger who are riders, if you got a story for me to share. I definitely would like to share one of your guys' stories. I said non-motovloggers because the motovloggers tell their tales. They share their stories all the time. So if you don't have a voice on YouTube and you got a cool story that's real, I should just say that, that's actual stories, and it's pretty bizarre or something crazy or a little bit crazy, doesn't matter, just let me know. Instagram at SkellaSteve, DM me on there, you know, tell me about it. I'd like to hear it. But that's where we'll wrap it from here, guys. Make sure you like this video, as always. Comment if you can, share it if you can, and subscribe. And when you subscribe, don't you forget, don't you ever forget to ring that Guardian bell. Alright, it was fun, guys. Hope you guys enjoy this video. SkellaSteve out.